we're going to explore a fundamental shift in music history. It's a shift that went well beyond just marketing or promotion and actually altered the very craft of how a song gets made. It all has to do with the moment the screen became the primary stage for popular music. On this day, a somewhat grainy broadcast of a moon landing signaled a major turning point. A new television channel launched, and its very existence would change not only how we consumed music, but how music itself would be created from that day forward. The very first video ever broadcast was, fittingly, Video Killed the Radio Star. Now, this was obviously a symbolic choice, but it also hinted at a much deeper transformation. This was the beginning of an era where the craft of songwriting was quite literally re-engineered for a visual medium. To really appreciate the scale of this change, we first need to understand what the world of songwriting looks like before this new stage ever appeared. For a very long time, a hit song was built on a specific set of rules. It was all about a strong, catchy refrain, maybe a clever lyric, and a melody that could punch through the limited fidelity of an AM radio signal. The entire creative process was focused on just one of our senses: hearing. The arrival of a 24-hour music video channel suddenly introduced a new and, frankly, non-negotiable requirement for anyone writing a song. Success was no longer just about what a song sounded like, it was also about what it could look like. This really shows a profound change in the whole concept. Before the 1980s, the goal was the earworm, that melody you just couldn't get out of your head. But after MTV, songwriters had to start thinking about the eyeworm, a visual moment so iconic it would come to define the entire song. The New Romanticism movement is a perfect illustration of this new approach. Bands like Duran Duran, they weren't just writing pop songs anymore. They were essentially scoring miniature, high-fashion films. The sounds of the synthesizers, the length of an intro, these choices were being made to create a specific cinematic feeling. The music had to feel just as sleek and expensive as the film it was being shot on. This new demand for visual content forced a fascinating evolution in songwriting, and it actually gave rise to a whole new structural component in music. This led to the creation of what we can call the visual hook. And this wasn't just some afterthought. It was often the central pillar that the entire song was built around. The question for the songwriter was no longer simply, is this a great melody? It was, what is the iconic visual moment that this melody is going to serve? Michael Jackson's Billie Jean is a masterful case study of this very phenomenon. The song and the video are completely inseparable, and that was absolutely by design. The structure of the song is there to serve the visual. That famous bass line and beat create this propulsive walking rhythm, which is then explicitly tied to the image of the sidewalk lighting up with every single step. And the song's instrumental bridge, well, it's not there for a guitar solo anymore. It becomes this dedicated space for a dance break, the absolute centerpiece of the visual drama. This reinvention of the musical bridge into a showcase for visuals became a real hallmark of the era. You just have to think of the groundbreaking stop-motion animation in Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer, or the pencil sketch world of a-ha's Take On Me. In cases like these, the music exists to support these incredible moments of visual innovation. This visual-first way of writing songs, as you can imagine, sparked a critical debate that, in many ways, is still going on. Was this a genuine evolution of the art form, or was it a dilution of it? Critics from that period argued that this shift privileged style far more than substance. They would point to the rise of the image band, where, elaborate hair and wardrobe often seemed to be doing more of the heavy lifting than the actual chord progressions or musical arrangements. But the counter perspective is that this period gave us a new kind of multi-sensory genius. Artists like Prince or Peter Gabriel used the medium not as a restriction, but as a way to expand the storytelling potential of a 4-minute song. They created this powerful synergy where the music and the image were truly inseparable. The principles that were established in the 1980s didn't just fade away when the music video channel started to decline. Actually, you could argue we are now living in the logical conclusion of this visual-first approach to music. You can draw a direct line. The visual hook of the 80s, designed for a 4x3 television screen, has now evolved into music that's written specifically to serve a 15-second visual trend on platforms like TikTok or Reels. The medium has certainly changed, but that core principle has remained the same. So ultimately, while MTV isn't the cultural force that it once was, its most significant legacy is a permanent one. It ensured that the visual hook wouldn't replace the melodic one,
but would instead become its inseparable partner in the way popular music gets made.
And this leaves us with a final question to consider. Did this focus on the visual cause the art of pure melody to be lost? Or was the very definition of what a song is expanded and redefined for a new, multi-sensory world? This explainer was brought to you by Notes and Silences.